everyone, welcome back to Blooms and Bicycles. During the month of May, ombres of greenery burst back into life again. And now freewheeling into the height of springtime, we pass through wafts of heaven-sent aromas from the floods of lilac flowers, with great thanks to the people in our local areas who choose to plant them in their gardens and communal spaces. And as the nights draw out and the days become longer, and long sweeping blooms, both trailing and tall, and also in many shades of the lilac colour, together provide a complementing backdrop for this iconic flower. And as they all sway together in the warm spring breeze, all of a sudden it begins to feel like we're pedalling through heaven on earth. To bring the magic of these moments into the home, this collection combines an array of different lilac flower varieties with other complementing blooms in various shades of purples, fresh greens, whites, and silvery lilac lunar tones in what we have decided to call today the Lilacs and Long Days Flower Collection. In this tutorial today, we'll be sharing with you how to construct the medium Lilacs and Long Days letterbox flowers. Today our water vessel is already prepared with the water and flower feed. However, if you would like to understand what to do to make your flowers last for as long as possible, you can always refer to our flower care video, which can be found via the link in the description box below. And to begin with, as we always do, we'll start by taking the strongest of stems to create our flower grid. And in this collection, that is these beautifully sweeping lilac leaves, these stems of common dogwood, which may well flower, as well as the lilac flowers themselves. So first of all, we'll take our two pieces of greenery and we'll sweep one off to the left and one to the right. And now to take our lilacs, we'll assess how high each one is, all of which are different varieties and all have their own scent. So the lighter the lilac colour of the flower, the more lighter jasmine notes of the perfume, and then the more you work into the darker colours like the amethyst purples and then into the crimson fuchsia pink undertoned flowers, the more of a light, delicate, sweet musk the perfume is. It's beautiful. And also just to say as well, if you pay close attention, each variety, its flower head overall are different shapes. So some are very upright and candle shaped, whereas others are more sweeping with lots of movement in. And between the three varieties that we've chose to introduce into this collection, you'll see a range right across the spectrum. So this is the smallest one and will be perfect positioned towards the front, if positioned in between the two pieces of greenery with the stem up the side of the vase at the back. And now, as you can see with our other two pieces, the more fuchsia pink variety is much longer than this amethyst purple one. So I think the amethyst purple one will be perfectly placed in the middle area. And then maybe we still do need to trim down our final piece and take away some of those leaves. We'll now add the tallest one off towards the back. So what we want to make sure, because at the end of the day, the lilacs is exactly what we're celebrating in this collection, we just want to make sure that nothing overlaps with those flowers. And so in terms of the greenery added so far, even if needed, just rest it on top of the green leaves, if not off to the side, just so everything is still fully visible. And now to add our accent of white, lilac-y silvers in this lunar toned rose, and fresh greens from the Viburnum Snowball. So again, we'll just assess the shape and the length of each one. And having a look at these, it looks like the Viburnum is going to be the tallest one. So this will be perfectly placed at the back. And we just want to make sure that the flowers sit in a position where they are facing towards the front of the display. So even if at this point in time the grid isn't packed enough for that to happen, we can just leave that to one side for a moment, introduce the other stems and come back later to add the viburnum when there is more control to be had with the denser grid. So weaving our rows in between the lilacs to help break up the purple tones slightly. We'll then try again with the viburnum by positioning it right in the centre of the grid, where there's the most dense collection of stems. And now to take the 3 Canterbury Bells, which will come in white as well as lilac. So in this piece you'll receive 1 lilac and 2 whites. So again, because of that balance we always try to achieve, having the lilac one in the central position, and perhaps towards the back to provide a beautiful backdrop to this fresh green in the viburnum. If that one is placed in the centre, the 2 white stems can then go off to the left and right. So taking away any of the leaves which will fall under the watermark, as we always do, we'll just be mindful to twirl the stem to ensure the flower cups will be as visible as possible. And now to take one of our final finishing touches, this beautiful Lilac Limonium, which can be trimmed away into various stems by cutting the offshoots away from the main stem. And as a material in floristry, this is brilliant to work with because it is so flexible and low maintenance. It doesn't need any water and can happily just sit on top of the grid above the watermark and naturally dry in the air of the room while still retaining its colour and form. So if we just suspend it almost in mid-air, just to fill any of those voids. And now for the final touch, with these beautiful varieties of clematis, both of which are totally different in flower shape, but both in the lilac spectrum. So with this first piece, which is naturally very straight, we can actually use this, given how flexible the stem is, to sweep off towards the front to give almost a trailing effect. Or alternatively, we can also add it directly into the grid towards the middle or the back, and then just allow its flowers to intermingle around some of the other varieties, which is exactly what clematis does when left to grow in a garden or its natural environment, I suppose. So that can just always create a nice little quirk in your design. And then with this final variety of clematis, as you can see, the flowers actually grow off a much longer stem than the others. And so what can be quite nice to do with this particular type is to introduce it into one of the final gaps at the front of the grid, making sure it is still under the water, and just flex it backwards so that the flowers begin to sit upright and intermingle from front to back throughout the whole flower display. So there we have it, the Lilacs and Long Days medium letterbox flowers. I hope you enjoy the rest of May and the abundances of lilacs that are out in bloom at the moment as much as me and Roberta do. See you next time.